YouTube, what is going on? I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. In today's YouTube video, we are bringing you guys a little bit of a different style video. No ranked play today. So if you came looking for ranked play, come back in a few days. We'll have a new ranked play video posted in a few days. However, for today's YouTube video, we just kind of headed in a little bit of a different direction. Last video, I asked if anyone would be interested in me kind of talking about Regulation F coming out at the end of this month, beginning of next month. So January would be the Regulation F. Just we're getting a lot of new Pokemon as well as returning Pokemon in Cinder War, you know what I mean? So it's definitely going to shake up the metagame quite a bit, and I definitely wanted to talk about that and what Pokemon maybe you should look out for, what Pokemon might be good with Terra that haven't been good in a little bit, just stuff like that. Then there's going to be definitely some returning Pokemon that just are always good pretty much no matter what. So we're not going to talk about them as much. Just talking about like what the meta will be, and things to look out for. Maybe certain Pokemon, if you don't have them, maybe you want to catch one, train it up, and have it, at the ready, or give it a try on the ranked ladder, for when Regulation F does come out. The DLC comes out in a few days. I think it's the 16th of December is when the DLC comes out, and then you'll have 15 days to play it, and then Regulation F will come out. So that being said, we're going to hop right into today's video. If you do enjoy the video, make sure you guys drop a like, consider subscribing if you guys are brand new around here. We normally do Pokemon ranked play videos. If you are interested in having me try any of your teams, let me know down in the comment section down below. Let me know what the rental code is, and if you have a link to the PokePaste as well, I would very much appreciate it, and I would love to try a rental team from one of you guys on the channel sometime. That being said, let's go ahead and get right into the kind of the breakdown here. So we have 3 different sections, as you can see on your screen. We have a bunch of Pokemon in one, and then we have 2 teams. First, it will start with the main team here. The main team being Incineroar, Rillaboom, Rapid Strike, Urshifu, Tornadus, Fluttermane, and the Chanpao. This is what I think will be the meta team. This is basically the #1 team from Regulation E, the most popular team, and we're subbing in Incineroar. So this is basically the most used Pokemon on this list. I did give the Pokemon kind of random moves that generally will be used, and then EV spreads. Obviously, this is not an exact thing here. I'm more or less just talking about the Pokemon that we'll see in certain strategies that might develop. So that being said, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Rapid Strikers for Tornadus, Fluttermane, as well as Chanpao are definitely going to be running amok. I think you're going to see a lot of people using Incineroar, having Flake Out, Parting Shot, and access to Knockoff, most likely with Intimidate. Intimidate cycling very heavy, especially with Rillaboom, Fake Out, U-Turn, Urshifu, you know what I mean? Having access to U-Turn as well. On this, I don't have a U-Turn set. However, you could also choice Scarf U-Turn here. So you could choice Scarf U-Turn, Assault Vest U-Turn, and then Parting Shot, as well as Intimidate, and then really set up for Fluttermane or Chanpao in the back to do some serious damage. Well, I mean, Urshifu is no joke, and now there's Rillaboom. You know what I mean? Those guys don't fuck around. And Incineroar is also very good. So you know what I mean? With just a little bit of speed investment, Incineroar can actually do quite well, especially under Prankster Tailwind from Tornadus. So this is most likely the team that I think will run amok on the entire Regulation F. I think that's going to be the most popular team that you'll bump into. So if you're looking to run a meta team, I would say that is pretty much what you're going to be looking for. What Terra do we have on Incineroar? Terra Water on Incineroar. Yeah, it's going to be annoying. So just be ready for that. You're going to get faked out. The Covert Cloak and Clear Amulet are going to be huge items going into Regulation F. I've personally started to run Covert Cloak and Clear Amulet quite a bit. And then we're going to get into how else you can counter these Pokemon. Also, Pokemon that I don't like. So in this, we have all these guys right here that you see in Sonora Rillaboom. Those guys are already considered covered. Okay, so we're going to go here and we're going to talk about these Pokemon. Those aren't going to be included. We already talked about them. Okay, so these are just Pokemon that I think could be good in the format. As well as, you know, trying to help defend a little bit against the inevitable meta that will be running amok. And, you know, I'm not big on Paradox Pokemon and Mythicals, so there's not going to be too much of those mixed in here. It's mostly just going to be Pokemon that you should be able to find in the regular Pokedex here and try and counteract everything. So first off is going to be Annihilape. Annihilape has always been around. He gets access to Defiant. So Annihilape is, of course, going to be a great option. Pick your moveset. You can do Choice Scarf, Final Gambit, Annihilape if you want. We've seen that in the past. Also, Beat Up Rage Fist, Drain Punch. You know, we've seen all kinds of Annihilape sets. So I'm assuming everyone has an Annihilape build that they've used in the past. This one I just slapped on max speed, max attack. Defiant is really what we're looking for here. Defiant and competitive. Next up, we're going to get into King Gambit. King Gambit, another guy that's been around for a very long time now, since the release of Scarlet and Violet. Assault Vest, Defiant. This one I just have max special defense, max attack. You know what I mean? If you fill in the blanks with the moveset, you know what I mean? You got Katal Cleave, Sucker Punch. You got a lot of moves that King Gambit can utilize as well. Next up, we have Landorus, Therian. Most of these are just going to be Terra Flying, and then Terra Blast here. Terra Flying, Terra Blast is going to be an outstanding move. Max attack, max speed. Probably slap a Choice Scarf on here. Standard Landorus Therian set. You know, I mean, these are all bouncing around. Also gets access to Intimidate. You could even use the special attacking version of this. So we've seen special attacking Landorus with Poison Terra bouncing around a lot lately in Regulation E nowadays. So you could even run a set like that where just regular Landorus here. You use Sheer Force. And, you know what I mean, run a special attacking set. So max special attack, max speed, and then Terra Poison could also be very good. That way you can kind of dodge the inevitable Intimidates that are coming out. Basculegion is next up. Swift Swim, trying to outspeed these guys. Last Respects is huge. So Basculegion should be running around a little bit, I would imagine. Also gets access to Mold Breaker, which can ignore Pokemon's abilities. So you can kind of ignore the Intimidates, but you're giving up Swift Swim. So it's kind of a hit or miss with what you want to do with Basculegion. But Basculegion, you could definitely come up with a strategy to use on niche teams as well. Next up, we're going to have competitive Milotic. Milotic has very good bulk all around, especially with a little bit of special attack investment. You should be able to take out anything, especially if you have a Helping Hand user next to you. Helping Hand Scald or Scald in the Rain should be able to take out Incineroar in one shot, assuming they don't Terra, with just a little bit of special attack investment. I don't quite know what the calc is. It might be 80. It might be 80 special attack you need, EVs. But it's definitely, it's not a lot of special attack you need, especially if you're in the rain or you get a Helping Hand. But competitive, that's assuming that you activate competitive. So that would be assuming you have +2 special attack with that special attack investment. But yeah, competitive Milotic could come in very handy, especially against all the Intimidate users that are going to be out. Next up, we have Grass Ogerpon, so Teal Mask, I guess. Gives you the ability Defiant if you're not Terra'd, as well as now you can actually hold an item with Ogerpon, which could make Ogerpon a very viable Pokemon. You could even give him like the Assault Vest, so Assault Vest Ogerpon, and buff your special attack, and then just run all attacking moves and just opt out of Spiky Shield. No Spiky Shield, no Follow Me. But Follow Me is obviously huge. Follow Me could be great. So maybe you don't run. Maybe you run Citrus Berry. You could run a few other items that could make Ogre Pawn very good. So, yeah, we just went with max attack, max speed, but Grass Ogre Pawn could come in quite handy, especially with the Defiant ability. Next up, we have Okidogi. He gets access to Guard Dog, which is basically just Defiant. Intimidated means you get +1 attack, cannot be forced to be switched out. So you got Guard Dog, which is essentially Defiant, and then Okidogi. It has a very good stat spread here, very good bulk, as well as very good attack stat. It is a middling speed tier, so you might want to try and set him up under Tailwind, but you could always just, like, if you have a bad speed Annihilate, you could, or not, I'm sorry, not Annihilate, Okidogi, you could always try and set him up in Trick Room, or if you just, like, don't have Tailwind on your team, and the other team does have Tailwind, just set them up in Trick Room, and then they set up Tailwind, and bada bing, bada boom, you're kind of all good there. So he has a middling speed tier with 80, but maybe if you can tank that a little bit if you're trying to use Trick Room, or you can always speed him up. He's kind of go both ways. 75 would be better for him trying to go either way, but 80 is you know what I mean? It's not awful, but not good. Next up we have Thunderbeam Porygon 2. I think he can hold the Eviolite, right? Porygon 2 is not fully evolved. I believe he can hold... I've never used Porygon, but I'm pretty sure he can hold the Eviolite. He also gets access to Download, which upon switching in will boost his special attack by 1 stage based on your foe's weakness. So that's neat. Gets access to Trick Room, Thunderbolt, as well as Ice Beam, and then Protect. Very good stat spread on this guy as well. Very good bulk, very good attack. So this could be a very good Trick Room setter, especially if you you go Terra Ghost. Terra Ghost could be really good, or Terra Dark. It's kind of 50-50. I don't know how much Taunt we'll see, Prankster Taunt, but Fake Out is definitely going to be very likely. So if you maybe have him hold the Eviolite and you Terra Ghost, so that way they can't fake out Porygon, but then you have to worry about knockoffs. So it's gonna be weird. But Porygon 2 definitely could be the new Trick Room setter. And speaking of Trick Room, we also have Sinistcha. Sinistcha is gonna work very, very well with a lot of these Intimidate switchers. You could see Sinistcha switch in quite a lot, especially with Rage Powder trying to take the attack away from, for instance, if you do lead Incineroar and then you want to use a water type attack, and Sinistcha just uses Rage Powder, and then it sets up Trick Room, Rage Powder, and then they're just able to Parting Shot away, and you can't even get a water type attack onto Incineroar because Rage Powder is going to direct it over here. Not to mention if they Terra Water their Incineroar, it could just be painful, especially with Hospitality, just constantly healing themselves up. You turning Fake Out, heal yourself up. You turning Fake Out, heal yourself up. Sinistcha could be quite annoying if used properly. Next up, we're going to get in some starters here. We got Blastoise is going to be making a return. Blastoise has gotten access to Water Sport in the past, and also gets access to Shell Smash. So, what happened to my move? Shell Smash. So Shell Smash should lower your defense by 1 stage and then increase your, I think it's your speed and your special attack by 2 stages. I can't remember quite what it is. Let me look it up. Shell Smash. Lowers the user's defense and special defense by 1 stage while raising attack and special attack and speed by 2 stages each. So yes, Shell Smash with Terra Water Sport could go crazy. I think that's a super likely option, especially if you set them up with what could you do? You can do Choice Scarf, because he does have that middling speed tier at 78. So you could try and get him set up in Trick Room or under Tailwind. But especially if you're able to get screen setup with Grimmsnarl. So say you lead like Grim and Tornadus, you could potentially set up a screen for whatever they have, and then Parting Shot away into Blastoise, and then Shell Smash, and maybe you try and set up Follow Me too. Follow Me while you Shell Smash. Oh, you could run Protect too, so okay. So Protect, so you could Follow Me, Shell Smash, so you lead like so you could lead Grass Ogerpon, right? So you Follow Me with Ogerpon, and you Shell Smash. They try and hit you with a Grass type move. It's not going to really do much. Also activating Defiant if they do lead one of those Pokemon. So you Follow Me, Shell Smash, and then you could Hard Swap next turn into Prankster Tailwind Setter like Tornadus. Hard Swap into Tornadus, and then Protect, and then Prankster Tailwind, and then just potentially sweep with Terra Water Sport. Could just go absolutely crazy. Next up is Swampert. Swampert, we just gave him a standard, kind of spread his EVs around here. Special defense, attack, and HP. Protect, bulk up, earthquake, as well as substitute. So you could potentially bulk up and then substitute, or substitute and then bulk up, and then trying to start spam earthquake. Terra Grass defensively. And give him the leftovers. So kind of a bulky Swampert here. We'll look at his stats here. So you'd end up with a 251 special. This is a level 100. 251 special defense, and then 237 defense. That's with no defense investment, with the defensive nature. You'd end up there, and then just dump the rest into HP, because these are kind of even anyway. So with all the Intimidators running around, especially if you have screens, like, I don't know how much you'll need to invest in defense, so we just kind of put it in special defense and HP, and then we added some attack investment for our earthquakes. But if we're able to substitute bulk up earthquake, Swampert could have potential, especially, like, give him leftovers, give him citrus berry, but you could even give him Assault Vest, right? So you could give him Assault Vest and then put EVs in defense, HP, and attack, and give him the Assault Vest, and then just use earthquake off rip. But you never know. But Swampert could have a place, but not quite sure yet. Next up, we have Alolan Executor. Should also get access to Trick Room. Could be a great teammate for Torkoal, for example. So it gets access to Harvest, so you give it the Citrus Berry, and you train it defensively. So right here, we just have max defense, max special defense, because its HP is pretty solid at 95. Also has a respectable attack stat at 105. And then just god-awful speed. So you set them up in Trick Room. So you Trick Room, you have access to Harvest, you lead Torkoal, you protect Torkoal, and you try and set up Trick Room here. The problem is if you get taunted or encored. Taunted or encored, fake out could also be tough. So you would probably want to change your Terra type according to what you're trying to defend. You could also lead a Follow Me user. So in DD, for example. So you could lead in DD and Executor, and then try and Follow Me Trick Room, and then you could hard swap. You would follow Me again, and then hard swap Executor for Torkoal, and then at that point, Indeedee should be about dead. And then resend out Executor with Trick Room, and you have access to Citrus Berry. You're a big bulky boy, and you can try and sweep with Torkoal from there. That could be a fun strat. So just food for thought, like Alola Executor. Next up is Skarmory. I actually am really interested to see if someone could make Skarmory work. I'm definitely going to try it in a video. Here on Skarmory, just put for straight up bulk, max special defense, max HP, and the last 4 in attack. Gets access to Sturdy. Steel Flying is a pretty good typing. And then you just substitute Roost Brave Bird. And Swords Dance as well. You don't have to use Brave Bird. I just kind of picked the best attacking move I felt Skarmory got, especially with 80 attack is not super amazing. But with like grass types running around, Terra grass types, you know, Brave Bird could be very good into them. You get some super effective damage. But you could also go for, I don't know what you would want to go for, really. I mean, steel type attacks, I guess you could go for. You could also change its Terra typing to, I don't know, like Terra Fairy, and then just put Terra Blast on it, and then just Terra Fairy, Terra Blast people. So that could be a unique set. But yeah, Skarmory I think has a lot of potential here. Especially if you're able to, like, you're so bulky, like if they do a little bit of damage on you and then you just roost and you get all the way back up and it reactivates Sturdy, like just in case someone smacks you with a big super effective move, you just eat it up for days. Be really nice, especially with the substitute. Next up we got Blaziken. Blaziken we put a little bit of a unique set on. I got this idea from my buddy Josh. Blaziken gets access to Terra Normal now. So you could just do max speed, max attack, and then just protect. And then activate your speed boost. So now you're +1 speed. The only thing you have to worry about is you might have to Terra turn 1 to avoid getting killed by like Rapid Strike Urshifu if their Surging strikes you. That would suck because they're just going to smack you through protect. So maybe you'd have to Terra Normal on turn 1. But you could Terra Normal protect, get your speed boost, and then hold an item like the light. I just gave it Life Orb, but you could use maybe Citrus Berry just in case you get smacked through protect. You try and like defend against that. I don't know what the exact calc would be. If you got hit by just do max attack Urshifu, on a Terra Normal Blaziken and see like what your health would be at. Maybe you want to use Citrus Berry instead. But then you get access to Last Resort, which is just funny, which is like 140 base power move. But you have to use all the other attacks, but you've already used Protect and you don't have any other moves. So you just Last Resort Terra Normal and you just one-shot someone with the 120 base attack, max attack EVs, and you just one-shot whatever you target, assuming you can avoid any Protects. Which I just think that's kind of funny. You definitely... I mean, you could get to Master Ball tier with using him if you battle enough, but definitely more of a niche Pokemon that would just be very funny if, especially in closed team sheet, you just rock a Last Resort onto someone, you just absolutely one-shot them, I think would just be funny. Next up, we have Metagross. I have a shiny Metagross from Sword and Shield that I definitely want to try and get going here. I don't exactly know how I'm going to spread the EVs on this. I just did max special defense and max defense with 4 in HP because you already have 135 base attack. So we kind of did an Iron Defense Body Press set on this, give them the Citrus Berry and then Meteor Mash and Protect for coverage. But you could definitely mix it up with Metagross, and then you could its nature, you do Sassy and just increase your special defense more and then decrease your speed and try and get them set up in Trick Room. I think that could be funny. Clear Body should avoid all Intimidates, so that's good. And then, yeah, so that could just be a little neat set with Metagross. Avoiding Intimidates plus Iron Defense. If you watch one of my previous videos with the Iron Defense Gudra, just worked absolutely fantastic. So Iron Defense Metagross could be kind of a similar thing. I mean, there we were Steel Dragon, which is an amazing typing right now, but Steel Psychic could be good as well. And then change your Terra type accordingly to however you want to use that, offensive or defensive. Next up is Golurk, which I'm actually super excited for. We just built a max, so we did max defense, max HP. You could elect to split this between we didn't elect to split it. We just did max defense and then a defensive nature because we are slapping on the assault vest, so we're all attacks over here. But Golurk actually gets access to all of the punch moves. So Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, as well as Drain Punch, which I just think is funny. And then you slap Iron Fist as the ability onto him. And I don't know, maybe like, okay, so what do you have to worry about here? You're worried about ground type attacks, ghost type attacks, stuff like that. Maybe you just do Terra Fairy. So you could Terra Fairy, Golurk, and then just Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Drain Punch to get some health back. And you're actually like pretty bulky. I don't think you're not one-shotting anything by any means, but I don't believe, but you set him up in Trick Room with his base 55 speed and just like GG's. So like I definitely am interested in having a Trick Room team with like Golurk, Metagross, who else we could have would work in Trick Room that's gonna be like new and fun. We could do Porygon 2. Torkoal would be excellent, and then even Blastoise maybe. And then Sinistcha could be a good option, like if you're trying to use like Sinistcha Blastoise, so you can Rage Powder and get Blastoise like a Shell Smash Water Sport safely, especially with Trick Room. So maybe like Sinistcha Blastoise, Golurk. That's 3. You could do Metagross as 1. That's 4. You could have a lot of fun with Trick Room, I think. But last but not least, we have one more starter to get to, and it is going to be Primarina. I never got to play with Primarina. I didn't play this generation. I played the first 4 generations, and then I got back into it with Sword and Shield, so I never had the opportunity to play with Primarina. But it's essentially, I don't know what came first. Sylveon, I think, came first. Yeah, I think Sylveon came in Gen 4. So Primarina is discount Sylveon, kind of. But you just do max special attack. You could give it some defense EVs and then rest in HP, set it up in Trick Room, give it a defensive nature to boost even further. And then Liquid Voice, Hyper Voice with Choice Specs does some water damage onto both opponents. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Especially if you got you could do double voices. Would be good. Singing team, you could almost do like a singing team. You could do like Toxtricity, Primarina, Sylveon. I'm sure there's some other Pokemon that could come out. Exploud's not in this game. I'd say Exploud would be really funny too. All the sound-based Pokemon. I know we did a banned Pokemon video, but you could just do like a sound-based team. I just think it'd be funny. But anyway, so those are the Pokemon that I believe have potential to be good, or at least niche. They could be very fun to add to a team. Next up, we're going to get into the team that I would think would be very good for like me to run personally. Like if I was going to be like, okay, I'm climbing the Master Ball tier, or, I'm trying to climb my way up Master Ball tier, to get very far, but I still want to kind of stick to my morals, I guess, of trying to not use Paradox Pokemon and Mythicals like, Heatran and Tornadus and all this other stuff. So that is going to be this team. So we have Empoleon and Weirdeer, with slight adjustments. So we've used Empoleon and Weirdeer on the channel before, and they performed exceptionally on the ranked ladder. Having Intimidate with Weirdeer, and then you being able to use Skill Swap onto the opponent to intimidate Empoleon, especially with how many Intimidators are running around right now, I just think is absolutely great. You could even give Empoleon the Covert Cloak, for example, to avoid fake outs. I still have the Citrus Berry on from my build, and I do think changing its Terra type from Grass to Dragon could be beneficial. But then you run Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, Protect, Vacuum Wave, the same, and then the same EV spread we were using prior. And then, I actually have the Covert Cloak on Weirder. I forgot about that. But Terra Dark, Covert Cloak. So Terra Dark to prevent you from like anything prankster related. Terra Dark will negate, and then Covert Cloak will negate any fake outs. I think taunt is less, but like ideally you don't have to Terra Weirder, but I think like the chances of you getting taunted is also less than you getting faked out. You know what I mean? Like I think you have to worry about fake out more than taunt. So put the Covert Cloak here, Trick Room, and then Skill Swap, all that good stuff with Empoleon Weird Ear. Next up we have Urshifu Rapid Strike. Same Urshifu I've used on the channel before. Max attack, max speed with the Choice Scarf. Surging Strikes through Protect is just huge. You can also U-turn away if you see a problem and there's not a good matchup for Urshifu. Just U-turn away. Next up, we have Farigiraf. Could also help with like dealing with some priority moves that you don't want to take, such as Fake Out, Parting Shot from Grimmsnarl, just stuff like that. Supportive set with Light Screen, Trick Room, as well as Helping Hand. But we do have some special attack investment because we do have a decent special attack at 110. So Psychic could be pretty good, especially with Terra Psychic, if you chose to rock that. Or you could also, there's so many Farigiraf builds. I haven't featured Farigiraf on the channel yet, but it's definitely a Pokemon that I would enjoy featuring, because there's so many different movesets you can use. Like this is a Rocky Helmet set with Armor Tail, but you could also do like a Nasty Plot set with Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. I think would be funny. So yeah, Farigiraf with the Armor Tail, it's definitely got potential to be very, very good, especially in this format with preventing fake outs. And that's why most of this team you'll see is also on Urshifu you could use the Clear Amulet. I think I put the Clear Amulet on Crawdon. I'll get to him in a minute. So yeah, Urshifu, Choice Scarf. You want to leave the Choice Scarf or Mystic Water on Urshifu because Surging Strike's guaranteed critical hit. So Intimidate is basically not effective against Urshifu as long as you're using Surging Strikes and you're getting that guaranteed crit. And then, like I said, just got done talking about Farigiraf. And then also Pelipper setting up the Rain for Urshifu Surging Strikes could be absolutely fantastic. And then Pelipper does get access to Weather Ball, so you're not worrying about the accuracy on Hydro Pump, and then Tailwind, Helping Hand for just huge damage in the water with Helping Hand on like a Urshifu Surging Strikes. Could be very, very nice. And then you just put the Sash on there, you get the guaranteed Tailwind. It's just huge. So this is the same Pelipper that we've used in the past with max speed and max special attack. However, I mean, its defense is not good. I mean, I guess you could like do straight up support, but like Hurricane and Weather Ball are very nice damaging moves on Pelipper with the 95 base special attack. And you're pretty much going to get one shot by whatever hits you. So, I mean, you could live a hit, especially if they hit you with like a defensive attack, like Surging Strikes, I guess. Maybe you live that, but you want to have the focus sash on Pelipper. And then just try and get your Tailwind set up. And then once Tailwind set up, you can do Helping Hand or just go for big damage with Hurricane or Weather Ball if you're able to get away with it. But last but not least, we have Crawdon. Crawdon, we're going to stick the Clear Amulet on, and we're just really going for big damage with Terra Water, Adaptability, Aqua Jets in the Rain with Helping Hand. So like turn one, like you don't even have to worry about Trick Room, right? Like Farigiraf does have access to Trick Room as well as Weird Ear, so I guess this is kind of a Trick Room team because Empoleon is slow. But really you're enabling, so like if you're enabling Empoleon and Crawdon are your big, huge damage dealers with Rapid Strike Urshifu, and then you have 3 supports. Pelipper is like half support. All of them are like half supports though. Like no one's full support because even Weird Ear has maxed out special attack with side and has access to Shy Shock. Obviously, Surging Strikes out of Urshifu is no joke. And then like Psychic out of a 110 special attack with special attack investment out of Farigiraf, and then Pelipper we just got done talking about as well. So yes, these guys are support, but they also put a lot of damage on the board, which is super helpful for like Crawdon. So Crawdon with 252 attack investment with a bonus attack nature, Clear Amulet, Terra Water, Aqua Jet. I think I did the calc, and it was Terra excuse me, Terra Water, Aqua Jet onto Incineroar. Okay, so we'll just do this calc quick. I might make a cut when the calc is set up. Okay, so I got the calc pulled up. This should like is a standard Incineroar set is the same Incineroar build we had when we went over it. But you always got to be worried about the defense EVs that they put. Should be max attack, and I imagine they're gonna put some in special defense. And with all the Intimidators running around, I don't think they'll put as much in defense. I think they'll invest more in speed. But you kind of got to work around that. But okay, so here we have our Crawdaunt over here on the right? So let's say you lead Crawdaunt Pelipper, right? So you want to avoid you can still become a victim to fake out. You know what I mean? So you always have to worry about that if Crawdaunt gets faked out. But with the clear amulet on Crawdaunt, we're not using the choice band, which is what normally people do use. But if you can catch Incineroar in a bad spot, right? And they could always hard switch out Incineroar. But if you can catch Incineroar in a bad spot with Crawdaunt, let's say you don't want to burn your Terra, right? So let's say there's heavy rain and you get Helping Hand up. Aqua Jet is still a guaranteed one-hit KO if you don't burn your Terra with this EV spread. Now, let's see how much defense they can do to avoid getting the one-shot, right? I don't think there's any amount. They would almost have to be max defense. Okay, so if they do 172 defense investment, they can potentially avoid the one shot. 81% chance to one shot. And that's with 172 defense, right? So I think, I can't remember what was there, 4 maybe? It wasn't a lot. So, and that's in the rain with Helping Hand. However, let's say you Terra, right? If you Terra in the rain, Aqua Jet has an 18.8 chance to OHKO. So you're kind of rolling the dice if you don't Helping Hand there. So I don't even know if burning Terra is the move. You know what I mean? And on that squad, there's no other Helping Hand users here, right? You have Empoleon Weirder. You do have Helping Hand with Farigiraf. Okay, so if you led like Farigiraf would put a hard stop to Incineroar, right? So you lead Farigiraf Crawdaunt, and then you come over here, and there's no rain up. But if you Terra Water with Helping Hand, you get that 18.8 chance to OHKO. So it's tough, you know what I mean? And that's if they have 4 EVs in defense. Not to mention if they have more, you might not be able to get the one shot. But you also have it's tough because, so I really wanted to put Crabhammer on, right? I really wanted to put Crabhammer on instead of, Brick Break, for example. Just do Crabhammer. But Crabhammer would definitely get the knockout. The problem is, if we went with Crabhammer here, just that 90% accuracy roll, right? So with here, we'll just call it 20, right? 20% of the time you get the OHKO, so 80% of the time you don't kill. But if you rock a Crabhammer on them, then, and that's without Helping Hand, you don't even need the Helping Hand, you're still going to OHKO them. And Farigiraf makes it so that they can't fake you out and get away. They have to hard swap. It forces a hard swap out of Incineroar. But it's tough because you rock the Crabhammer, but you only have the 90% accuracy. It's just leads things. It could leave things to chance, but then you're not losing 10% of the time. So maybe you do Crabhammer, right? Because 20% of the time, if you do Aqua Jet, you only kill 20% of the time. Whereas this, you're killing 90% of the time you kill them. So maybe you do rock Crabhammer. Maybe that's what you do. You do Aqua Jet, knockoff, Crabhammer, Protect. Maybe that's what I'll end up running on it. But anyway, Clear Amulet, Terra Water, Crawdaunt, I think is going to be huge in this meta, right? And then if they do go Terra Water on you, then you have to find another way around it, right? That's why I thought about trying to put Terra Blast on Empoleon, and make it Terra Grass, but then you get one shot by things like you do set up Trick Room. You could get one shot by like an Incineroar or a Torkoal or a couple other things. You know what I mean? So it's tough to put Terra Grass on Empoleon. So then the question becomes, how do you deal with the water types? And the answer is, I don't really know. Just by non-super effective moves, like we just don't. This team doesn't hit water types well, but I think it definitely, like if we look at the meta team, right? Like what we think the meta team is, you're really only worried about Urshifu, right? But then Urshifu doesn't want to get hit by, it doesn't want to get hit by Pelipper at all. So Pelipper really blocks it pretty hard. Pelipper does block pretty hard here with Hurricane, but you never know. Anyway, that being said, I apologize for my rambling towards the end. If you guys did make it all the way through this video, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I appreciate if you guys drop a like if you did enjoy the video. Consider subscribing if you guys are brand new around here. We will be back with the ranked play content in the following days, leading up to Regulation F. That being said, it is the holiday season. Happy holidays. I will announce that as well in my next couple of videos. I hope you guys have a fantastic holiday season. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out with me. I probably should get a holiday themed team. I don't know what it would be. It'd probably just be mostly ice types, you know, like Iron Bundle and Alolan Ninetales, stuff like that. But I think that'd be that could be a fun team to use. If you guys do have one of those teams already made, definitely drop the rental code in the PokePaste in the chat below. That way, save me a little time. That being said, I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Later, dudes.